Jan friends, I'm Major Goravari and you're watching the fresh news of the day. Now, apparently Joe Biden and Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, have spoken to each other and they have spoken about how the Wagner Group revolted against Putin and how it's now going back to Belarus. Now, this entire deal was brokered by the president of Belarus. And there are a few takeaways that they discussed. And obviously, Zelensky was very happy that I've spoken to Joe Biden. He tweeted about it. And, we're going to discuss the future of Ukraine, Russia war, and all that. So, one truth is that they're getting a lot of aid, Ukrainians. They're getting billions of dollars, they're getting arms, ammunition. And there have been a lot of accusations against Zelensky because Zelensky is apparently skimming the top, as the Americans like to say. He's taking away money. Notwithstanding, what is happening is that this entire Wagner operation has put Putin on a very shaky footing. Now, already the Russians were suffering in the Ukraine war. And hardline nationalist Russians cannot figure out for their life why this is happening. But the Russian army, military superpower, why can't it crush Ukraine? What is the reason? What is the reason why the Russians are not deploying their famous navy? The Russians have aircraft carriers. Why can't they deploy those aircraft carriers? Why can't they cut off trade? Why can't they cut off supplies to Ukraine? Because when in war, you do everything that you can. Why is Russia not using the full might? Why is Russia fighting with one hand behind its back? And this was my question too. And time and again, Russian nationalist bloggers are asking this question. Having said that, a large part of the casualties during the Ukraine war, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it was taken by the Wagner Group. Now, the Wagner Group is no longer there. As I mentioned, the leader is going to Belarus with his close team, and the rest of the Wagner Group people, the mercenaries, because it's essentially a mercenary organization, they are being asked to sign papers which affirm their loyalty to Mother Russia, etc., and they will be part of the Russian army or they'll be phased out in a certain manner. Having said that, here is a lesson, and the lesson is this, that people whom you considered your friends one time can be manipulated by the enemy. And the Wagner Group has got manipulated. What the future holds for Putin, I do not know. But one thing is certain, Putin's position is no longer tenable. And I say that with a lot of responsibility. I don't think Putin is going to be there for the next, people said he's going to be there for a decade or so. I don't think so. I think people will, within Russia, sense weakness in Vladimir Putin, and they will start gnawing at the corners. They'll try to weaken Putin further because never in his entire tenure as president, and he's been president for quite a while, never in his entire tenure has he looked so vulnerable in front of the world. That is one part of it. Now, coming to Pakistan, what has happened in Pakistan is that the joint statement by Prime Minister Modi and President Joe Biden, which condemned terrorism, which condemned the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed and called for Pakistan to stop cross-border terror, has not been taken very kindly by the Pakistani Foreign Office. Imran Khan says that this joint statement actually points to Pakistan as a sponsor of terror, which is actually quite a fact. I don't know why Imran Khan is disputing this fact. It's a fact. And Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Imran Khan's foreign minister, when Imran Khan was prime minister, he was foreign minister. Shah Mahmood Qureshi says that this is a political statement, it's not a diplomatic statement, etc. But nobody in Pakistan is saying that Pakistan does not sponsor terror. That's not Pakistan's line of argument at all. What Pakistan essentially is saying is that, we did so much in the war against terror and we did everything for the United States of America. We lost 80,000 people, we lost $100 billion worth of property. But America is not thankful. But I asked the Pakistanis today, why should America be thankful at all? America wanted a service. You were ready to render that service for a price. It was a commercial transaction between America and Pakistan, and that's about it. You agreed to let your citizens die for billions of dollars. You agreed. You said, yes, America, we will do your bidding. We don't care how many of Pakistanis die. All we want is your dollars. America was happy to give you dollars. You were happy to get your citizens killed. Pervez Musharraf actually sold, and I've said this time and time again on national television, Pervez Musharraf actually sold 4,000 Pakistanis to the Americans. Innocent Pakistanis, most of them, nothing to do with Al-Qaeda. Somebody selling fruits, somebody working in a shop. The ISI goes, kidnaps that person at night while he's going back home, sells him to the Americans for a few $1,000s. saying that this guy, $50,000, one person, $100,000, he's a top operative of Al-Qaeda, which is not true at all. These were innocent people. And many of them died and many were sent to Guantanamo Bay. This is what Pakistan did with its own citizens. It gave drone bases to America. It gave drone bases from where drones took off and they killed, I don't know how many people in tribal areas in Pakistan. And of course, Afghanistan. Entire wedding parties were wiped out. And this is what I said 2 days back also, that when Barack Obama says that Muslims in India are under threat, and he says that Prime Minister Modi or the current dispensation in India should look after Indian Muslims. Well, Barack Obama has every right to say whatever he wishes to say, but he was the president who signed off on drone strikes in 7 Muslim countries, including Pakistan and Afghanistan. He was the one on whose written order thousands of people died and millions were displaced. So I think America is the last country that should be talking about minority rights or the rights of any number of people or human rights in any country. Now, final point here is that, Pakistan is hand in glove with terrorists and Pakistan has lost thousands of lives. More than 80,000 people have died in Pakistan, which is true. But I would like to reiterate the point that I made earlier. Pakistanis have taken money for it. And somewhere Pakistanis need to realize that the relationship or the agreement that they had with the Americans was purely transactional. Now, Pakistanis complain the Americans went back to America, leaving this mess for us. Of course, Americans would finally go back to America. Where did you want the Americans to go? They're not going to go to the North Pole or South Pole. Americans will go to America, the Indians will go to India. The Canadians will go back to America and the French to France. That's how it works. America came to Afghanistan for a certain operation. When that operation finished, they went back. Or when they wanted Pakistan to fight their dirty war in Afghanistan against the Russians, they gave Pakistanis money. That's about it. Pakistanis took money. Why can't Pakistanis understand this simple truth? You accepted money to render a certain kind of service. You rendered that service, you took money. Now you cannot claim relationship with your client. Your client paid you money, you accepted money. And you knew that it would be bad for your country. You knew that innocent people would get killed. You knew that Pakistan would, fall into a spiral of violence and drugs and Kalashnikovs. You knew that. And in spite of that, the greedy leadership of Pakistan took billions upon billions of dollars. They sent their own children to study in Oxford and Cambridge. They sent their own kids to Dubai, to London, to US. They sent them in all the top capitals of the world to live a life of luxury, and they put poor Pakistanis in misery. This so-called jihad fi sabilillah. This is a creation of the Pakistani deep state. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. If you like this video, press like. I'll be back again tomorrow with another fresh video. Till then, Jai Hind.